What is going on, everyone? Luca Rosano here, back with another video. I can't believe the time has already come. It's playoff basketball, baby. It's here. We're ready to go. The Toronto Raptors are back in the playoffs, and I'm super excited to make this video. I'm going to be giving you a preview and my prediction of the Raptors and Sixers first round playoff series. Yes, we now know who the Raptors' first round playoff opponent is. So we're going to dive right into it, and then I will give you my prediction. But before we do just that, do me a solid favor, everyone. Drop a like on the video. It helps the algorithm a ton. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new, and plus turn on that post notification bell if you want to see more Raptors videos just like this and NBA videos in general. Playoffs, they're here. I'm going to have a ton of content on this channel, so you definitely want to keep it locked and loaded on the Luca Rosano YouTube channel. Go follow me on social media as well. And lastly, today's video sponsor is Dave & Buster's. Go check them out. They're now open. You can watch the Raptors game there. Game 1 goes Saturday at 6 p.m. It's weird. Usually the Raptors have the afternoon games, but they're going to be playing in a night game on Saturday. Game 1, go watch it at Dave & Buster's. Great food, great times, great facility. Dave & Buster's, proud sponsor of Luca Rosano. Okay, we are going to dive right into this. There's so much to get to. First things first, let's look at some odds. And this is courtesy of FanDuel Canada. The Raptors are plus 150 to win this series, while the 76ers are the favorites. No surprise there to win the series at minus 178. Now, as soon as we found out about this matchup, I was excited because I did not want to see the Celtics. I wanted this matchup, so I got what I wanted. I hope it's not one of those things where it's be careful what you wish for, because I think a lot of Raptors fans wanted the Raptors to take on the 76ers rather than the Raptors go up against the Boston Celtics, who, by the way, are the number 2 seed, and they could very well go up against the Nets. That would not be a good first-round matchup for them. And immediately following the news that the Raptors were going to take on the Sixers in the first round, Shaquille O'Neal made headlines everywhere when he did not hesitate and said, Ernie, write it down, Raptors are getting swept. Now, he did take it back. He did take it back later on in the broadcast, but initially, he did say the Raptors were going to get swept. Well, Shaquille O'Neal, that's basically what the Raptors have gone through all season long. People writing them off, people underestimating them, so it's nothing new to them, but it was interesting when it did happen. So Shaq must have went on Twitter and said, you know what, about that sweep, let me take it back before it's too late. Okay, so let's get into this matchup, guys. We have seen these two teams battle 4 times during the regular season. The Raptors actually took 3 of 4. And we're going to first start with players to watch out for on both sides. And we're first going to start with the Philadelphia 76ers, the 4 seed in this matchup. The player you got to watch out for, and rightfully so, Joel Embiid. He will be a dominant force to be reckoned with. Averaged 30.6 points, 11.7 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.5 blocks per game this season. And he might just be the MVP of the season. You know, it's going to come down to he and Nikola Jokic. And he also was able to capture the scoring title. First big man to win the scoring title in the NBA since Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Embiid had an incredible season, and he was one of the biggest reasons why the Philadelphia 76ers were able to grab a top 4 spot in the East. But with how good Embiid has looked, the Raptors have had a ton of success against Embiid. Embiid versus the Raptors since the start of the 2019 playoff series. 37% field goal percentage, 27% from three-point percentage, under 50% shooting in 13 of 16 games. Against every other team over that span, 51% from the field, 37% from 3, 50% shooting or better in 102 of 176 games. Toronto is 11-7 versus Philly over that stretch. This is a tweet per TSN's Josh Lewenberg. So Joel Embiid, he is going to be a very important player to watch in this matchup. Will he be able to get his, or will the Raptors continue to have success over the big? Now, another player to look out for in this series on the Sixers side is James Harden. How's that hamstring treating him? Now, when the Sixers first acquired James Harden, he was as advertised. He had a great start to Sixers tenure. But it's his last stretch of games that has fans a little concerned. Now, this is crazy how much of a discrepancy there has been, particularly with how Harden has shot the ball during his first 4 games compared to his last 17 games. So these are Harden's numbers with the Sixers in his first 4 games. 26.8 points per game, 12 assists per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, 2.8 turnovers on 59.2% shooting, 50% from 3, and 90.2% from the free throw line. Now compare that to James Harden over his last 17 games, where he's only averaging 19.7 points, 10.1 assists, 7 rebounds, 3.6 turnovers, and this is where it gets very concerning if you're a Sixers fan. He's only shooting the ball 36.3% from the field and 29.1% from 3. That's not going to cut it in a series against the Raptors. And he is shooting at 89% from the free throw line. Now let's look at some players you got to look out for on the Raptors side. Now it is evident, it is obvious that if the Raptors want to upset the Sixers here and beat them in this playoff series to advance, they need a big series from Pascal Siakam. And Siakam finished the regular season averaging 22.8 points per game, the most on the Raptors and a shade under his career high. He also averaged 8.5 rebounds, 5.3 assists per game, both of which were career highs. And we saw with Siakam, he got better as the season progressed, making a strong case for the All-NBA this season. And the Sixers are well aware of what Pascal Siakam is capable of. In Toronto's win against Philadelphia on April 7th, their last encounter, Siakam was dominant with 37 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. And what's very interesting here is that Matisse Thybulle, who will be ineligible to play in at least 2 games of this series, he's not able to play in Canada due to the vaccine rules. Embiid figures to spend a decent amount of time guarding Siakam again. So that could be a lot for Embiid to deal with. Not only is he expected to be the Sixers' best player in the series, but now he has to defend Toronto's best player. Another player to look out for on the Raptors is Fred VanVleet. A healthy VanVleet could cause some havoc against the Sixers. He shot 33.1% on pull-up triples this year, which would be enough to open up the defense. The Sixers don't really have anybody who can limit VanVleet and his offense, other than maybe Thybulle. Now, switches have generally given VanVleet trouble, but the Sixers don't have a super switchable team. So expect VanVleet to find success attacking players like Harris or Harden. If VanVleet can get his offense going, it could be a long series for the Sixers defenders as they try to contain VanVleet. Now, we already know the Raptors are made up of a bunch of 6'8 guys. They have proven to be a nightmare for any team to try to figure out. And when the Raptors have been fully healthy this season, they've started Siakam at the 5. They were never fully healthy against the Sixers, with VanVleet and OG each missing 3 of the 4 meetings, and Siakam and Barnes each missing 1. But they did have success outscoring the Sixers by 11 points in about 28 minutes with Siakam or Boucher as their biggest player on the court. Another thing to look out for in the series: how will the Sixers respond to the Raptors' defense? The Sixers' offense is not going to be about individual matchups. It's going to be about how Philadelphia deals with the Toronto defense that will swarm the ball whenever Harden or Embiid gets inside. Now, the Sixers do move the ball well. In their 4 regular season meetings, they've recorded assists on 70% of their field goals. And that's their highest rate against any team in the East. But they've also committed 17 turnovers in their most recent loss to Toronto. If the Raptors can win that battle and force the Sixers to a whole bunch of turnovers, that's going to be huge for Toronto. And the last thing I want to point out here is there's going to be a ton of pressure on the Sixers bench to step up. Because when Embiid is off the court, the Sixers are not as scary. You look at Embiid, he recorded a positive plus-minus with the Sixers outscoring Toronto by 15 in his 75 total minutes. And this is in the last 2 games. But the Sixers were outscored 61-36 in Embiid's 21 minutes on the bench. And you look at the 76ers, they do not have a real backup for Embiid. Paul Reed has looked good, but will he get minutes from Doc Rivers? And the Sixers are even going to have less depth out there when they're in Toronto, when they're not able to play Matisse Thybulle. So overall, the Raptors have the playoff experience. People forget Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet were two big pieces of that 2019 championship Raptors team. They're going to be here. They're two of the Raptors' best players. They know what it takes to win these competitive series. The Raptors have a proven track record against the Sixers. They've had their number of late. They got the coaching advantage. I'm taking Nick Nurse any day of the week over Doc Rivers. I know there's reports that are suggesting that the Lakers are interested in Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse is not going anywhere. The Raptors are fully healthy, and they are playing their best basketball of the season. One of the best records in the NBA since the new year. This could not have been a worse matchup for the Philadelphia 76ers, who right now have finals or bust labeled on them. Well, I hate to break it to you, Philadelphia, but the Raptors are going to make sure you have a short-lived, disappointing postseason run again. My pick for this one, give me the Raptors in 6. They will get it done. They will send Philadelphia packing. And the Raptors will move on to the second round. And they will once again prove people wrong. This is a good matchup for them. And I genuinely think they win this series. This is not me being a homer. This is not me being biased. Because if it was Raptors and Celtics, I probably would have taken the Celtics. I like this matchup for the Raptors. Give me Raptors in 6. You got my pick. Now I want to hear yours. Your unbiased pick in the comment section down below. Who do you got winning this best of 7 series and in how many games? Let me know. I read all your comments. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's blow this video up. Share this video if you enjoyed it. And that is it. I will be having playoff coverage all postseason long. I'll be doing my live streams. You definitely don't want to miss out on the content that I got in store for all of you on this channel. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all again in the next one.